take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, imagine breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of worry, stress, or tension to feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath. That's it. As you breathe in and breathe out, relax your eyelids. That's it. Start to scan your body for any feelings of tension you may have. Maybe in your neck, your shoulders, your forehead or jaw. And as you breathe in, give permission to yourself to let go of any tension. So as you breathe in and breathe out, it just feels like that tension is melting away, feeling like it's leaving your body in your outward breath. As your body relaxes, I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you're in a church, sitting in a particular place where you have a clear view of a box. Perhaps a box next to a Eucharist, a cross. There you are in this small chapel. Just use the power of your imagination to imagine you're there in that chapel, breathing as you would in that chapel. Facial expressions and posture, as if you were lost in your own thoughts, staring at that box. There is a feeling of safety, security, and peace in this chapel. So as you breathe in and breathe out, allow yourself to enjoy that feeling of peace. To breathe in and breathe out and feel a growing connection to God. No one else is God, you're God. That personal relationship with what God means to you is feeling stronger just being in that location, with your eyes focused on that box. Any tension starts to leave your body, breathing in deeper and slower, and just feeling that you are safe and protected, but also grateful. I want you to imagine that you communicate to God in however you would normally communicate to God. Maybe thoughts, maybe in a dialogue, maybe imagine that you're having a conversation. However you do it is the right way, and I want you to imagine that you're expressing your gratitude. Maybe your gratitude for your health. Maybe gratitude for your competency in an area of your life that has a positive, powerful impact on other people. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice how that expression of gratitude makes you feel. You start to feel a growing strength of belief. And it isn't even that you need to believe in you. More that something bigger than you and everything else believes in you. What if a serious illness is no longer there for a reason? I want you to get a sense that for God to heal you, it didn't happen by chance. It clearly means there's something more for you to do. So as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to stare at that box. And as you stare at that box, fixate on that box, you can't help but recall a time when you were in a silent retreat, and consistently there was an owl. I want you to remember how silently that owl would glide. Get a sense of the feathers. I want you to get a sense that that owl represents wisdom. And here's the interesting thing, that wisdom already exists within you. You know it. You've been resisting that wisdom, but it's there. And what if you were meant to survive that illness in order to exercise your wisdom? What if all of that wisdom that you've accumulated working with thousands of people is now meant to be used on you? What if what you've done for other people, now is the time to implement that in your own life? As you see the beauty, the elegance of that owl, you already know that all the help you've given other people, the strategies, the ideas, the belief, the conviction, how can it exist for other people if it can't also simultaneously exist for you? A teacher can't teach someone else and not know the answer themselves. You have all the wisdom. The owl is just a reminder that the wisdom already exists. Therefore, there is something stopping you from harnessing that wisdom. A closed door. I want you to imagine you're standing in front of a closed door protected by a security guard, saying, "This door is shut, it is closed." But then you notice the door starts to open, just slightly, just enough for you to make the decision that this door that's been closed for so long is no longer closed. And I want you to imagine that you are sneaking in past the door. You're on the other side of the door, with a level of tenacity and resolve that you've never felt so strong. This is your future without this block. You're on the other side of the block now. I want you to imagine you're walking through the woods, seeing the sunlight through the trees, and I want you to feel uplifted, that there is a new dawn, a new day, a day where you are on the other side of the closed door. You have access to all the wisdom that you've cultivated, but you no longer are locked from accessing it. You're on the other side of that door. You are now in your future. As you walk through the woods with the sunlight in the trees, feeling like you're in the cathedral of your own life, I want you to accept the idea that God wants you to be on the other side of that door. That's why you're still alive. You didn't help all those thousands of people for nothing. It was to give you a chance to use all of that on yourself. I want you to start reflecting on all those people you've helped and start to see the similarities in your own life. And you realize this was accumulating wisdom and strategies designed not just to help them, but to help yourself. You've pursued this career of helping for a reason, because all along you were building up all of the resources and knowledge necessary to make the change in yourself. That's what it was all for. No luck, no chance. That's how it was meant to be. And I want you to get a sense that the thing stopping you was the closed door, but you've snuck by the closed door. And I want you to imagine you are now in a future where you get to harness confidence, relaxation, no holds barred. I want you to feel like you can soar in your life. Not metaphorically, literally. I want you to imagine what you're doing in this future now that you're behind the closed door. You're on the other side. What do you do differently? Whatever you choose to do, God wants you to do, because you're here for a reason. Maybe it means that you're able to level up, to be more dynamic, to continue to climb higher and higher, to be more adept. Maybe it's because all those things that were off limits are no longer off limits. Maybe all those things that you weren't allowed to do, shouldn't do, couldn't do, you now can. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new chapter in the book of your life. There was your life behind the closed door, and there is your life on the other side of that. And are you going to leave just because you're being asked to leave? Are you going to accept no for an answer now, when you've waited so long to get through that door? No. You will make the very most of finding that way in, more tenacious, more determined, more resilient than ever before, to voluntarily walk back through the closed door and allow it to be locked shut. What if you never get to go through that door again? You are not leaving until you get everything you want. But what is everything you want? What is that one thing you want today or tomorrow or next week? Allow your mind to inspire you. And sometimes, when you felt like you couldn't eat anything on the menu, you don't even know what you want. So now it's time to order things on the menu, knowing that you might not like the taste, but you're going to do it anyway to figure it out, what you like and what you don't. To dive into that pool of your future, trusting that you will swim as far as you need to swim. I want you to feel that you are now healed, not from a health issue. You are healed from the shame of your past, the anxiety of your past, the trauma of your past. That's what you're healed from. Feel a healing light, a warmth, an acceptance from God that however God created you, then of course He accepts. Why else would He create you in this way? God wouldn't create something that is faulty, that is imperfect. God would create it exactly as it's meant to be created. And I want you to feel that you are healed from any shame, any judgment, any pain of the past. You've paid the price for way longer than you ever should. And that penalty was not your penalty to pay, but you paid it anyway. And now you are beyond the door, beyond the locked door, having a future of acceptance, opportunity, and freedom. Embrace that freedom, but also protect that freedom. When someone is let out of a jail for a crime they didn't commit, why would they voluntarily walk back into the jail cell? You are now free and healed, and it is now time to live life on your terms. I want you to imagine that you're no longer in the woods, but you're still seeing that owl flying in front of you. The owl is a reminder that the wisdom exists within. How can it not? And then as you look at the grace, the effortless, the owl doesn't need to try and fly, just trust that it knows how, as will you. And as you look into the owl, you then find yourself in a chapel looking into a box, feeling that God is giving you his blessing. You're through onto the other side to live life on your terms, but it is now your responsibility to use the wisdom for you, to make changes, make decisions, make choices, knowing not all of them will be right, but by making them anyway and being willing to learn from them. And as you do so, you feel this wonderful sense of excitement and freedom. A new dawn. Then imagine that you're leaving that chapel, but you leave feeling lighter, feeling an even stronger connection with God, feeling that you have his blessing and acceptance on whatever you choose to do next. Then find yourself returning to the present as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. That's it. In a few moments' time, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling healed and feeling that you are on the other side of the door that's been blocking you. And unlocking a fierce tenacity and determination to never go back. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.